A sharp political disagreement has emerged between competing views on global governance and national sovereignty, drawing international attention. Rather than a routine policy exchange, the situation reflects a deeper divide over how countries define authority, accountability, and independence on the world stage. At the center of the discussion is El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele, who recently issued a direct public challenge aimed at former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. The exchange quickly gained attention across diplomatic and media circles, prompting widespread reaction and debate. What made the moment stand out was its tone and timing. Instead of following traditional diplomatic language, Bukele chose a more direct approach, signaling a willingness to step outside established norms. For many observers, the exchange highlighted a broader shift in how some leaders are choosing to engage with long-standing institutions and figures. The latest exchange began with a public social media statement from former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who commented on recent developments in El Salvador. Her remarks focused on the country's security policies, particularly the Terrorism Confinement Center, known as CECOT, a high-security facility central to President Nayib Bukele's anti-gang strategy. In her post, Clinton highlighted reports from individuals who say they were mistakenly identified as gang members by U.S. authorities and later deported, raising concerns about the conditions they faced after arrival. Those accounts have circulated widely in international media and human rights discussions, framing the facility as part of a broader debate over due process and enforcement practices. Supporters of Bukele's approach view the criticism differently. They argue that international pressure often overlooks the scale of violence El Salvador faced for decades and the significant reduction in crime achieved under the current security measures. From this perspective, selective focus on individual cases fails to capture the broader impact on public safety and daily life for millions of Salvadorans. The disagreement reflects a long-running tension between external advocacy and domestic governance. While some emphasize international norms and oversight, others prioritize outcomes tied to stability and security within national borders. In San Salvador, the renewed attention has been closely watched, particularly given the country's historical experience with foreign involvement and its lasting effects on internal affairs. If Clinton expected Bukele to retreat or issue some watered-down apology, she clearly doesn't know who she's dealing with. He didn't just respond. He met her criticism with a scathing, unprecedented offer that has sent shockwaves across the Internet. In a response that was as biting as it was formal, he made a proposal. He'll release every single individual in the CECOT facility tomorrow. That includes the high-ranking gang leaders and the ones Clinton's circle calls political victims. To understand why this moment resonates, it helps to look at El Salvador's recent history. For years, the country struggled with exceptionally high levels of violent crime linked to organized gangs, creating daily fear for many communities. Under President Nayib Bukele's administration, that situation has changed dramatically. Official statistics and international reporting have shown a historic decline in homicide rates and other violent crimes. Central to that strategy has been the use of high-security detention facilities, including CECOT, designed to hold individuals accused of leading or participating in large-scale criminal organizations. Supporters of the policy argue that removing those figures from the streets has played a significant role in restoring public safety and reducing extortion, intimidation, and neighborhood violence. Critics, including some international observers and media outlets, have focused on concerns about detention conditions and legal processes. Others counter that this emphasis overlooks the impact the security changes have had on everyday life, particularly for families who now report feeling safer moving freely within their communities. The disagreement reflects a broader divide in how governments balance security, sovereignty, and oversight. For some, the priority is strict enforcement and rapid crime reduction. For others, the focus remains on procedural safeguards and international standards. Bukele's firm response to outside criticism has been viewed by supporters as a statement of national independence, while critics see it as confrontational. Beyond the immediate controversy, the exchange has drawn attention from other countries, watching how smaller nations assert their policy choices on the global stage. In that sense, the debate extends beyond a single prison or leader, touching on how states define authority, responsibility, and public safety in an increasingly interconnected world. The response to the exchange has extended well beyond El Salvador, sparking wider discussion across international media and online communities. Supporters of President Nayib Bukele have praised his approach, viewing it as an example of a leader prioritizing domestic security and asserting national decision-making in the face of external criticism. Others continue to debate the broader implications, reflecting differing views on how governments should balance sovereignty, accountability, and international engagement. Public reaction has also included close attention to the absence of an immediate follow-up from Clinton or her representatives. For some observers, that silence has become part of the conversation itself, reinforcing perceptions about how and when international criticism is applied. As with many high-profile political exchanges, interpretations vary widely depending on perspective. Looking ahead, the episode highlights a growing trend in global politics. Some leaders and political movements are emphasizing national security, domestic priorities, and independent policy choices more strongly than in previous decades. At the same time, international institutions and advocacy groups continue to stress shared standards and oversight. The tension between those approaches remains unresolved, but this moment underscored how openly that debate is now being expressed. For many governments, the central question continues to revolve around a core responsibility: ensuring public safety while navigating an increasingly interconnected world. The exchange served as a reminder that long-standing assumptions about influence and authority are being actively re-examined as new voices shape the global conversation.